In a moment, you'll hear James Stewart as the six-shooter, just one of the many fine programs brought to you Sundays on NBC. Later this evening, listen to the NBC Star Playhouse with two of your favorite stars. Hear Stroke of Fate and the story of what might have happened if fate had reversed historical facts. And be sure to keep tuned for the dramatic story of Last Man Out. It's a wonderful lineup of great programs, all of them heard only on NBC. James Stewart as the six-shooter. The man in the saddle is angular and long-legged. His skin is sun-dyed brown. The gun in his holster is gray steel and rainbow mother of pearl. Its handle unmarked. People call them both the six-shooter. The NBC Radio Network presents James Stewart as the six-shooter, a transcribed series of radio dramas based on the life of Britt Ponsett, the Texas plainsman who wandered through the Western Territories, leaving behind a trail of still-remembered legends.
Confess thee of thy sin, Desdemona, or indeed thou art to die.
Milord Othello, have mercy on me.
I say amen.
And you, mercy too. I never did offend you in my life.
Oh, perjured woman. Oh.
Nay, I speak the truth. I never did offend.
You're offending us, lady. Hey, who is this guy Shakespeare anyway?
Oh, banish me, milord, but kill me not.
Don't, trumpet.
Kill me tomorrow, but let me live tonight.
Pete's sake, kill her tonight. Yeah, let's get it over with.
Nay. Lady, if you strive...
But half an hour.
Holy mackerel, not another half hour then. Go on, Othello. Put her out of her misery. How about our misery?
Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
We certainly don't mean us.
Ladies and gentlemen. It appears that our thespian efforts do not meet with your approval.
Appears?
My company and I have played before all the crowned heads of Europe. We thought the enlightened community of Virtue City would welcome an opportunity to witness the works of the immortal bard as performed by Madame de la Seine, the distinguished French actress, and by your humble servant. We were mistaken. To err is human, to forgive divine. I forgive you. The performance is concluded. Good night.
Hey, now, just a minute. You mean you ain't going on to the end of this thing?
You have understood me correctly, sir.
What's Shakespeare going to say? Yeah, what about the money we paid? Do we get it back? What about
Silence! Silence, please! My company has more than earned a meager pittance.
You ain't earned nothing until the show's over. That's right. Either you finish up your acting up there, you give us our dough.
This ultimatum is outrageous. I reject it flatly.
Just you stay up there on that stage, mister. I said...
Please, sir, please, there are ladies present. Someone might be injured.
You going on with the show, ain't you? Well?
The performance will continue. But under protest, sir. Under severe protest.
Been back to Virtue City since the second silver strike. The first mines played out, 10, 15 years ago, and the town has been crumbling away like a stale loaf of bread. But the new strike last spring, for the looks of things, is even bigger than the first one. The old stores all opened up again, and half a dozen new ones being built. The new railroad accounted for some of the prosperity. Anyway, that's why I'd come to town. I was supposed to meet the train from Chicago and pick up some spare parts for the pump at the Round Y Ranch where I was working. The train wasn't due until the next day, so I headed over to the hotel to see about getting a room. The clerk was sitting behind the registration counter looking through some kind of a contraption. I don't know what it was. Sure had never seen a gadget like that before. Excuse me.
Sorry, mister. Didn't know you was there.
Well,
I
I'd like
just
to...
got me new set of pictures. I sort of anxious to try them out, you know.
Pictures? What?
My stereoscope.
Oh.
Why, you seen the stereoscope before, ain't you, mister?
No, can't say as I have.
Why, it's the newest thing. All the folks back east have got them. Here, just let me show you, huh? Now, you wait a minute. Just wait till I find Niagara Falls. Yeah, here it is. Now, you just look through the front end there, huh? That's right. Well,
I'll be doggone. Why, it just looks like that water come right at you, doesn't it? Why, you'd think it was real. You'd think you were right there.
Here, just let me show you another one, huh? Now, let me see. Oh, yeah, pyramids. I'm the only fellow in town got the pyramids.
The pyramids?
Yeah, they're in Egypt, you know. There. Now, how's that?
Why, just look at... I can't believe it. Well, that fellow's standing out in front of the pyramids. It's just like you could touch him. You could just reach out and touch him. I've never seen anything like that before in my life.
Yeah, you just wait till I find that redskin to shoot an arrow. Got a way he's aiming it. Well, if you didn't know it was a picture, you'd swear you were looking at...
Key, if you please.
Oh, sure, Mr. Plunkett, sure.
And you may as well have my bill ready. We'll be checking out this afternoon.
Oh, thought you were supposed to give another show tonight.
The performance has been canceled.
Hey, Arch.
Hey, beg your pardon, sir?
Arch, well, don't you remember me?
You seem to have the advantage, sir. I don't believe that... Brett Pouncett!
Well, what the thunder are you doing in Virtue City, Arch? Why, I haven't seen you since
our triumphal tour of Texas, wasn't it, Britt?
What?
When we were the honored guests of the governor, my company and I. You remember he insisted that we stay at the executive mansion?
Now, Arch.
I shall never forget the warmth of our reception there. The people of Texas have a true appreciation of the art of the drama, unlike some of our more recent audiences.
Audiences?
Well, come along, old boy. Come along. You must join us for a spot of tea. Marguerite would be so delighted to see you again.
Marguerite? Who's she?
My lovely wife.
Oh.
Don't tell me you've forgotten her.
Well, no, I thought her name
was... We've taken the presidential suite, of course. If you'll just follow me...
Well, now, hold on, Arch. I've got to see about a room for myself.
Oh, nonsense. The clerk will take care of these trivial details. This way, dear boy. This way. Here we are, my dear Britt. Enter.
Hey, what the Sam Hills happened to you, Arch? What happened to your voice?
It's all in good time, my good man, all in good time. Marguerite?
That's you, Art?
Yes, my dear. I've brought someone with me.
Oh, I have been, taking a little nap to snooze the nerves. Well, Brad! Why, you son of a gun, Well, where did you come from?
Oh, Maggie, how are you?
He was downstairs in the lobby, Mag. I had to get him up here fast before he spilled the beans.
Oh, that's right. You don't know we're in the profession, do you, Brett?
The what?
Show business, Brett. Show business. Maggie and I are actors now. We got our own company.
No.
Permit me to introduce myself. Archibald Plunkett, late of London, Paris, New York, and, for an unpleasant moment, Virtue City.
Plunkett, eh?
Couldn't keep on calling myself Archie Plunkett. Once I gave up the dry goods emporium and started acting.
Oh, I see.
And this charming lady is my wife, the toast of the continent, Marguerite Delesane.
What do you mean you changed your name too, Maggie?
Oh, just fancied it up a speck. I used to be Maggie Rivers before I married Arch. Well, we looked on a map. There's a French river called the Seine, so,
This don't seem fair somehow.
What do you mean, Brett?
Well, your folks give you a hand. It seems like you ought to stick with us.
Oh, not when you're in the profession.
Is that so?
Sure, most actors have to change their names.
They do?
Yeah, lots of them.
Well, I guess if it's customary,
Gee whiz, you're actors now, huh?
Well, Arch wasn't much good at business, Britt. You know that. He always hated to stay in one place. And then when the drought hit, well, we were cleaned out.
Yeah, it was right about then Doc Ryder come through with his medicine show. Remember the Doc, Britt?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure.
His guitar player had left him flat. Run off with that girl who used to do the singing, the one with the yellow tights.
Yellow tights? I don't think... Oh, yeah.
So the Doc needed somebody to take their place, and, well, Maggie always had a real sweet singing voice, and seeing as how we were broke anyhow.
Doggone tights never did fit me.
Well, you're not still with the medicine show, are you?
Oh, we sure ain't. Anyhow, we struck out on our own, started in doing serious acting. You know, Shakespeare.
Shakespeare? Oh.
To be or not to be, that is the question.
I see.
Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take up arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing.
That's pretty good.
That's Hamlet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's...
To tell you the truth, Britt, I was going to appear as the melancholy dame this very evening. But circumstances have compelled us to abandon the production.
Is that so?
Yeah, there was little trouble during our performance of Othello last night.
You mean the folks didn't like the show?
Well, when they started shooting up at the ceiling, that was the impression that we got.
Well, no, they shouldn't have done that.
I couldn't agree with you more completely. Anyway, we're going on to Rocky Falls. Maybe folks there will have a little more...
Oh, who on earth?
Right, now, you won't say anything. You won't give us away.
Oh, no, of course not.
Your servant, sir?
Forgive me for intruding. Are you Archibald Plunkett, the actor?
I am he.
Delighted to meet you, Mr. Plunkett.
And what may I do for you, sir?
I happen to be spending the day in Virtue City, and I saw a theatrical poster advertising a performance of Hamlet, one of my favorite plays. Unfortunately, when I tried to buy tickets, I was informed that your company isn't appearing this evening.
That is correct, sir. A sudden change in our schedule. We have so many engagements, we're unable to fill them all.
I understand, Mr. Plunkett. I understand. The vagaries of show business. See, I happen to be in the theater myself.
Indeed?
My card.
No, thank you.
I'm sorry I won't have the opportunity of witnessing your performance. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Old faker. Why, I bet he's no more in show business than you are, Britt. Probably thought we'd give him a couple of free passes.
Oh, no.
Oh, Arch, what's the matter?
Oh, no. It couldn't. I've seen things. Britt? Here, Britt, what's it look like to you? The name on this card. What's it say?
Let's see. It says Barnum. P.T. Barnum. Yeah, that's the name, all right. Printing's real clear.
We'll return to James Stewart as the six-shooter in just a moment. Now, during the holiday season, with more cars than usual on the road and adverse weather conditions, think a minute. If a child should dash across an intersection, if a tire should blow out, could you stop in time to save a life? As always during a holiday season, you must be more alert than ever in following simple safety rules. Keep your windshield clear of fog and snow. Be certain your headlights and wipers are working properly. In wet weather, never slam on your brakes. It's a sure way to put your car into a skid. And always follow other cars at a safe distance. Don't be one of those unfortunates who will lose his life in a traffic accident this Yuletide. Be careful, friends. Live to have a safe and happy Christmas. Now, Act 2 of The Six-Shooter, starring James Stewart as Britt Ponsett.
For the next couple of minutes or two, Arch and Maggie just stood there, looking at each other. And the way they were looking at each other, I tell you, it was the same kind of an expression a calf gets just before you hit him with a branding iron. Then Arch walked over to the window and raised it up just like he was getting ready to jump out. I thought sure Maggie would stop him, and she didn't. All she did was just grab the calling card out of my hand and started rubbing her finger over the printing on it.
Arch, it's real engraven.
Yeah. Why can't I do it, Maggie? Why can't I end it all right here and now?
Oh, now, what are you talking about, Archer? What's got into you folks, anyhow?
P.T. Barnum, Brett. You know who P.T. Barnum is, don't you?
Well, he said he was in show business.
In show business? He is show business. Jenny Lind, General Tom Thumb, half the stars in America owe their careers to him.
Yeah?
Don't you see, Brett? He was going to come to the theater tonight. He was going to watch us act without us even asking him.
Well...
And if he liked it, well, there's no telling what would have happened. He might have hired us himself.
An actor gets a chance like this only once. To appear before P.T. Barnum.
Arch, maybe it's not too late.
It is too late.
No, listen now. Now, the company is still in town. All we'd have to do is unpack the costume.
The performance has been canceled, Maggie.
Then we'll uncancel it. I'll round up the rest of the cast, change your train tickets. Sure, that's it. And you get over to the Opera House. Make sure they haven't let it out to somebody else.
Yeah. Oh, no. No, what about an audience?
Oh, yes. Well, I tell you, give some of the kids around town passes. They'll spread the word quick enough.
Well, now, just don't stand there, Arch. Get moving.
Oh, all right, Maggie. Yeah. All right. All right.
Well, Maggie,
Britt, now you go and find Mr. Barnum.
What?
He must be staying in the hotel. The clerk will give you the room number.
Well,
Tell him we rearranged our schedule again. We're playing Hamlet tonight. But for heaven's sakes, don't let him know it's because of him.
Oh?
And tell him he won't need tickets. We're saving him the front box. Well, hurry up, Britt, hurry up, before I make some other plans.
All right, sure. All right, Maggie.
Come in.
Mr. Barnum?
Yes? Oh, hello there.
Howdy, my name's Britt Ponsett.
I'm glad to meet you, Mr. Ponsett. What can I do for you?
Well, my friends, the Plunkets, the Plunkettes, they asked me to find you.
Oh?
And they've sort of changed their plans. It seems they're going to stay over in Virtue City tonight and give the show.
Oh, I see.
And they asked me to tell you that they're saving a box for you if you'd care to use it tonight.
That's very considerate, Mr. Ponsett. I'd be delighted. Are you with the company?
How's that?
Are you one of the performers I'm to have the pleasure of watching tonight?
Oh, no. I'm just a friend.
Oh. Well, thank you for delivering the message.
Don't mention it, Mr. Barnum. No, don't mention it. Well, I didn't see any more of Arch and Maggie that afternoon. I figured they'd have plenty to keep them busy. This acting job's about like anything else, I guess. There must be a certain amount of work to it. Anyway, about 7 o'clock, I was up in my room putting on a clean shirt, getting fixed up to go to the theater and watch their play. Hey, man.
Hello, Britt.
Oh, hello, Arch. Maggie. Oh, what's the matter?
I'm just born under an unlucky star, I guess.
Oh?
It's my fault. I never should have suggested giving a performance tonight in the first place.
Well, what, couldn't you get the Opera House?
No. Oh, it's available.
Well, Mr. Barnum's coming. He told me so himself.
Oh, heaven forbid.
Well, I thought you were so anxious for him to see you.
Not just to see us, but to like us, to appreciate our talent.
Oh, if I'd only thought to think, Arch.
Oh, don't blame you, my dear. Blame myself. Should have realized the whole idea of our playing tonight was out of the question. Now I've sent those kids all over town.
Well, maybe we can catch an early train. Sneak away before anyone knows.
Now, hold on there. Now, what are you both so down on the mouth about? Now, you got the theater, and you're going to have an audience, Mr. Barnum included.
Well, that's just it, Brett, the audience.
Huh?
It'll be the same folks who came last night.
Oh, I see.
They boo us, make fun of us, probably start shooting again.
And what'll Mr. Barnum think?
We're the worst actors he's ever seen, that's what he'll think.
Yeah, but there ought to be some way of maintaining order. What about the sheriff? He's the man to do it.
Already seen him.
Yeah? Oh, what'd he say?
Said if we ain't any better than we was last night, he's advising the boys in the audience not to aim at the ceiling.
Is that so?
One big opportunity, Brett. And it's ruined before we ever got started.
Well, maybe there won't be any trouble. Maybe the audience will like this. What is Hamlet? Maybe they'll like that better than the one you gave them before.
They won't. It isn't one of our most successful presentations.
Mm-hmm. You couldn't try something else, could you?
We only do 2 plays with Othello and Hamlet.
I see. I guess wouldn't be much point in repeating that Othello, huh?
No, wouldn't.
Uh-huh. Well, I'm awful sorry, Arch. I wish there was something I could do.
Do you, Brett? Do you really wish there was something you could do?
Why, sure, Maggie, sure.
Well, as a matter of fact, we did have one possible solution.
So?
It sort of involves you in a way.
What, me?
You see, you're practically saving our lives, Brett, if you do it.
Explain it to him, Arch.
Maybe you'd better do the explaining.
Oh, no. It really was your idea, Arch. Go on, Arch.
Well, you see, but now, don't say no until you hear me out.
Well, I'm not saying anything.
You see, we were thinking most of the folks here in town they must know you by sight, and they know you're the 6-shooter. So, it...
Well, I said no. You can be darn sure of that. And I kept saying it over and over and over again for the next hour and a half. What they were suggesting was just tomfoolishness, that's all. I just had to turn them down, that's all. I just had to do it. And they must have known I wouldn't agree to a thing like that. But no matter how hard I talked, they just talked harder. And being actors, they had strong voices, too, you know. Well, the next thing I knew, somehow they'd managed to drag me along with them to the opera house. Anyhow, after the piano solo by Thelma Featherhill, the curtain went up and the show got underway. Started out all right, too. Audience seemed to be paying attention. Nobody was creating any ruckus or anything, at least not at first.
Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt. That it should come to this, but 2 months dead. Oh, frailty, thy name is woman. Oh, fie, oh, fie.
Yes, fie on you, too.
Yet the source of most unrighteous tears had left the flashing in her galled eyes. She married.
Sounds like old Lady Crandall. She only waited 2 weeks after Jed Crandall kicked the bucket.
No, it cannot come too good. But break my heart, for I must hold my tongue.
Better get a good grip on it, mister. You see, Brett, you just gotta do it.
I can't do it.
Look at poor Arch out there. Isn't it just enough to break your heart?
Weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world.
Your acting's a little flat, too, mister. Go on, Brett, that's your cue.
What cue?
Go on, that's it.
Oh, good Horatio. I am glad to see you well.
Hail to your lordship, Brett.
Huh?
Hail to your lordship.
Oh, yeah. Hail to your lordship.
What make you from Wittenberg, Horatio?
How's that?
A truant disposition.
A truant disposition.
Can't get to school, kids. Here comes the truant officer.
I will not hear your enemies say so. Nor shall you do mine ear that violence to make it toucher of your own report against you.
No, he's bringing out the report card.
Sid, you better take it easy. Huh? Don't you see who that is, that other actor fella?
What are you talking about?
It's Britt Ponce.
Ponce, the 6-shooter? You must be crazy.
He's staying at the hotel. I seen him this afternoon.
Well, what's he doing up there on that stage?
He's a friend of them actors.
Oh.
If I was you, I'd keep my big mouth shut from here on in. There ain't no sword he's wearing under that rig. That's a 6-gun, plain as day.
It followed hard upon. Thrift, Horatio. The funeral baked meats did coldly furnish for the marriage table. Would I had met my dearest soul in heaven, where I had seen
Woe is me. Now cracks a noble heart. Good night, sweet prince. Sweet,
And flights of angels sing thee to thy rest. Rest.
And flocks of angels singing you to your rest.
Brett, golly, we can't ever thank you enough. Why, if it hadn't been for you, I just don't know what would have ever happened. Oh, golly.
And did you see? He stayed through to the end. Mr. Barnum did. Right through to the end. Britt, you were great.
Arch, I never felt so foolish in my whole life.
Do you think he'll come backstage, Arch? Mr. Barnum?
Somebody help me get out of this thing, will you?
Come in. Why, Mr. Barnum?
Good evening. I just wanted to drop by and tell you how much I enjoyed your performance tonight.
We are most honored, sir. Honored.
Your future in the theater is assured. And you there, Ponset.
Who, me?
You told me you weren't an actor.
Oh, he was just sort of filling in, Mr. Barnum.
Oh, I realize you weren't up in the part, Mr. Ponset. But such stage presence. Why, the way that audience quieted down when you walked on, I've never seen anything like it before in my life. Never. Now, if you're seriously interested in the theater as a career, I would be very happy.
No, thanks very much, Mr. Barnum. I'm not interested. No, that's real kind of you, but, no, thank. Oh, no. Well, sir, I got out of that theater just as fast as my legs could carry me. Gee, I just don't see how anybody can set out to be an actor. All those people staring at you, and that sweat running down the back of your neck. Holy smoke. Worse than any gunfight I'm showing. Of course, that applause, after it was over, that applause, that did sound kind of good. And Mr. Barnum, he's very nice about saying that I had stage presence, whatever that means. I suppose a man could get used to play acting if he had to. It sure is a scary business.
The Six Shooter is an NBC Radio Network production in association with Review Productions. It is based on a character created by Frank Burt, and the transcribed story is written by him. Mr. Stewart may currently be seen in the Universal International picture The Glenn Miller Story. Others in the cast were Michael Ann Barrett, Tony Barrett, Ted Bliss, Marvin Miller, and Dan O'Herlihy. Special music for this program was by Basil Adlam, and the entire production is under the direction of Jack Johnstone. All characters and incidents were fictitious, and any resemblance to actual characters or incidents is purely coincidental. This is Hal Gibney speaking.
Hollywood, California, Monday, June 14th. The Lux Radio Theater presents Anne Harding and James Stewart in Madam X. Lux presents Hollywood. Madam X comes to you through courtesy of the makers of Lux Flakes, the most popular fine fabric soap in the world. It is your regular use of Lux that makes the Lux Radio Theater possible. And we want you to know that we appreciate your patronage. Our stars tonight are Anne Harding, James Stewart of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Studios, and Conway Turl. Our guests, the former First Lady of the Tennis Courts, Mrs. Helen Wills Moody, and from New York, a Madam X and her son from Real Life. Produced each week by Cecil B. DeMille with Louis Silvers conducting, this program comes to you direct from the Lux Radio Theater on Hollywood Boulevard, where we bid a hearty welcome to you all. Before we hear Anne Harding, James Stewart, and Conway Turl in Madam X, may I remind you that summer is practically here, with its cool, comfortable cottons, its wash suits and dresses and sport things. These clothes can look so fresh, so crisp and immaculate that it makes you cooler just to see them. And I don't have to tell you how comfortable they feel. There's no reason why your summer things should ever lose their cool, crisp, new look. Lux is especially made to protect them. These delicate flakes are free from the harmful alkali too often found in many ordinary soaps. Any color, any material that's safe in clear water alone is safe in gentle Lux. Make a note to order Lux tomorrow. You'll find the large-size box most convenient. And now, the Lux Radio Theater presents its eminent producer, that outstanding pioneer of motion pictures, Mr. Cecil B. DeMille.
Greetings from Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. Anne Harding became an actress because she wanted to write. Employed by an insurance company in New York, she spent her spare time reading novels and plays for famous players Lasky, of which I was director general, helping our studio in its search for picture ideas. When she decided to study stage technique, she visited the Provincetown players. They offered her the lead in their next production. Following came 5 offers from Broadway, along with an ultimatum from her father, the late General George Gatley, commanding her to give up the stage or her home. Anne chose the stage. And 8 years passed before the General admitted that an actress in the family, especially an actress like Anne, was no discredit to the Gatleys. Several months ago, Anne went abroad, made a picture in England, and triumphed on the stage in Canada. She returned last month to Hollywood with her husband, the distinguished conductor, Werner Jansen. Tonight in Madame X, she plays the title role. With the same speed that he displayed on the track while attending Princeton University, lanky James Stewart has vaulted into picture popularity. At Princeton, he studied architecture when he could tear himself away from playing the accordion. One summer, he worked as an assistant to a magician, but there is no truth to the rumor that he became a lady killer by sawing a woman in half. From college, he went into summer stock, was stage manager for Jane Cowell, and soon after was acting on Broadway. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer brought Jimmy to Hollywood, and he's heard tonight as Raymond. In the role of Alan Cartwright, we present Conway Turl, an outstanding personality on the stage and screen for more than 20 years. Out of the limelight for a while, Mr. Turl made a remarkable comeback on the stage in Dinner at 8 and is currently seen in Romeo and Juliet. Now for our play. Our stars make their entrance as the curtain rises, and the Lux Radio Theater presents Anne Harding and James Stewart in Madame X with Conway Turl. The year is 1918. It's late at night, and in the richly furnished library of his home in New York City, Alan Cartwright paces the floor anxiously, waiting for news of his 4-year-old son, who tosses feverishly on a sickbed upstairs. As the door to the library opens, Cartwright crushes out a cigarette with nervous fingers and turns quickly to greet the doctor.
How is he? Is there any change?
He's much better, Alan.
You mean that he'll live?
The crisis is over. His temperature has started to drop already.
Oh, thank God.
He'll be romping all over the house in a few days. Youngsters come back fast. All he needs is rest and quiet.
If anything happened to Raymond, he's all I have left.
Nothing's going to happen to him. Now pull yourself together, Alan. I've left a prescription with the nurse. And something for you, too.
For me? I don't need anything. I'm as fit as a fiddle.
Your nerves are raw, Alan. You've been working too hard. And now, with this, you need a rest yourself, man.
A rest? How can I rest? I have a law practice to attend to.
Your law practice doesn't demand that you kill yourself, does it? Take things easy. You've done nothing but work all your life. It's the only thing you know.
It's the only thing worth knowing.
And one thing more, Alan. I don't like to mention this, but I'm your physician and your friend.
Well?
Jacqueline has been gone for 2 years now. She's not coming back. You've got to begin to accept that fact.
You think that's what's got me down?
Well,
But it hasn't. I've no intention of ever allowing her to come back. She's been calling here all day.
Jacqueline?
She heard Raymond was sick. Wanted to see him.
You're going to let her, of course.
No.
But, Alan, she's his mother.
She left him and she left me. Life wasn't gay enough for her here. Well, very well, then. But I make her own life. Make it or wreck it.
She's young, Alan. Much younger than you. Has it ever occurred to you that perhaps you were to blame, too?
For what?
You were so absorbed in your work. You had so little time for her. It wasn't gaiety Jacqueline wanted. It was companionship, love. She
left Raymond. Her own baby. There's nothing more to be said about it.
Sorry, Alan.
When are you coming to see Raymond again?
I'll drop in later on my way from the hospital. Good night, old man.
Good night.
Just a moment, please. Oh. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Bessie. Is Mr. Cartwright in?
Why, yes, ma'am. That is, I'm not sure, ma'am.
How is Raymond?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Cartwright, but Mr. Cartwright said that...
Did he leave orders that I was not to be admitted, Bessie? Is that the trouble?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
You got the doctor back again, Bessie? Let him in. Don't give him... Oh.
Good evening, Alan.
Let me go, Bessie. Close the door.
Yes,
sir. Well?
I've come to see Raymond. How is he, Alan?
I told you not to come here.
Oh, please. How is Raymond? Is he any better?
The danger is over.
Oh, may I see him, please?
No.
All I want to do is open the door and look at him.
He mustn't be disturbed.
I won't disturb him.
I'm sorry.
But I'm his mother, Alan. I've a right to see him.
You forfeited that right when you left him 2 years ago. I'm sorry, Jacqueline.
I didn't leave him, Alan. I left you. I had to. It was a mistake, I admit it, a great mistake, but I only meant it to be for a little while, just time enough to think things over. Why didn't you answer my letters, Alan?
I sent you money.
Why didn't you answer my letters?
I was busy.
You were always busy, weren't you, Alan? That was always the trouble. I reached out for you again and again. I could never find you.
You knew what you wanted, Jacqueline. Now you've got it. You left Raymond and you left me.
And there's no returning.
It's too late for that.
You want a divorce, Alan?
No.
No? But you... Oh, I see. It isn't a good thing for a man to be divorced if he wants to be a judge. You'd sacrifice your whole life for that, and mine too, wouldn't you?
It's my career, not yours. I'm sorry, but you'll have to leave now.
I've come here to beg your forgiveness, to ask you for one glimpse of my own baby. And...
Too much excitement.
I won't excite Raymond. I love him. But you won't let me near him. Clients, courts, a judge's robes. That's what your life is and all it will ever be. You don't know what love means.
Get out!
Opinions, decisions. Human beings aren't bound in leather and filed with your law books. They live. They make mistakes. They forgive and love and keep on living. Oh, please, Alan, let me see him. Let me see my baby.
No, Jacqueline. You say I'm hard. Well, perhaps I am. But it's for his good, too. I don't trust you. You've made me too unhappy. You've ruined my life. You're not going to have a chance to ruin his.
I should hate you for this, Alan, but I can't. I can't feel anything at all for you, except pity. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what it means. But someday you will. And you'll never forgive yourself, Alan. Never.
There. Now light the candles on the cake, Bessie. Hurry up. We'll surprise him.
10 candles. 10 years old today. It seems only yesterday he was a baby, Mr. Carter.
Letter from Raymond, Alan?
Yes, and listen to this. When my sophomore year's over, I'm planning to switch to pre-law. Pre-law, Perry. What do you think of that?
It is my privilege this day to award them their diplomas. May they practice their profession in uprightness and in honor. Will the men step forward, please? Albert Ainsworth, John Butler, Howard Bridges, Raymond Cartwright, James Carvell, Gerald
Albert Ainsworth, John Butler, Howard Bridges, Raymond Cartwright. There you are, Dad. My name in the newspaper.
I see it, son.
Yeah, you can just about see it, yeah. Pretty small print, isn't it?
Well, it'll be larger someday.
Well, not as large as yours, I'll bet. But did you see that story on the record this morning? Alan Cartwright sworn into the state Supreme Court. I got a real kick out of that.
Yeah, so did I.
You've been working for it long enough.
All my life, son.
Now it's here. Hey, you must feel pretty good.
Yes, I suppose I do.
Well, I don't see you throwing any hats into the air or anything. You know, if I ever just get one case, I'll be a success, you know.
Well, success isn't everything, son. You will find that out as you get older. There's more to life. Oh, much more.
Such as what?
Well, a home, friendship, family, a clear conscience.
Do you have those, Dad?
I have. Most of them. You've been my family, Raymond.
I guess I haven't been much help. It might have been different if Mother had lived. What was she like, Dad?
I thought we were never to mention your mother's name.
Oh, I know. I promised, but why not? It was such a long time ago, and everyone likes to know something about his mother. What she looked like, where she came from, what she did and said. You've never even told me her name.
She died when you were 4. You were ill at the time.
Where's she buried?
What?
Where's Mother buried?
Oh, a long way from here, Raymond. I'll take you there someday.
What was her name, Dad?
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline. Beautiful name. She must have been beautiful.
Albert Ainsworth, John Butler, Howard Bridges, Raymond Cartwright. Raymond Cartwright. Who is it?
Come on, open up.
Just a minute. Oh, come in, Tony.
Hey, you're getting kind of exclusive, ain't you, Jackie? Locking your door now, huh?
I have a right to privacy in my own dressing room.
Sure, but not when the customers are waiting for a number. Come on.
I'll be ready in a minute.
What have you been doing?
Reading the newspapers. Why?
New York papers, huh? What do you read them for all the time? The news is 3 days late.
That's my business, isn't it?
Sure. And maybe the San Francisco sheets don't carry the stuff you're interested in, huh?
What are you talking about?
Now, don't give me that, Jackie. I know you too well. Who is this guy Cartwright?
If you'll get out of here, I'll get ready for my number.
Come on. Who is he? Why have you got a whole drawer full of clippings on him?
How do you know that?
Don't be foolish. I looked.
You're frank enough.
Why not? Alan Cartwright, a prominent attorney, and son Raymond vacation at Palm Beach. Alan Cartwright appointed to Supreme Court. Who is he, Jackie? Come on, loosen up. Now, what are you trying to do, shake him down?
Get out.
A Supreme Court judge, huh? He's a hot number if you got something on him.
Did you hear what I said? Get out of here. Get out.
There, you see? You get yourself all worked up. You'll be pulling one of those feints of yours in a minute. You want a drink?
No.
Oh, I was just thinking. If you have got something on this bird, you ought to count me in. You know, for old time's sake.
I may be pretty low right now. I may have stepped down pretty far to be working in a place like this and for a man like you. But I haven't reached your level yet. Now get out.
All right. That's the way you feel about it. See you outside, Jackie.
Hey, Nick, come here. What do you want, boss?
Run out and send a wire for me to Joe Harper in New York. Tell him I want some dope on a guy by the name of Alan Cartwright, Supreme Court judge.
Okay.
And look,
Yeah?
I want to know especially about his wife, see? Who she was and where she is now. Tell him to get everything he can. I'll meet him in New York a week from Saturday.
Okay.
Hello? Oh, hello, Joe. Yep. Yeah, I got the stuff you left here. Oh, it's swell. Just what I wanted. No, I can't see you now, Joe. Come around to the hotel tomorrow. So long. Who is it?
Hello, Tony.
Well, if it isn't Jackie. How are you, Jackie?
All right.
I didn't expect to see you here.
Well, they told me you'd gone to New York, so I followed you.
Yeah? What for?
Just to make sure you didn't try anything that might get you into trouble.
Thanks, but I don't need any advice from you, see? I got everything I need, Jackie, and it's a swell story.
Is it?
You see, I know who you are and who your husband is, and your son, too.
And what are you planning to do with that information?
I'm going to do with it what you didn't have the nerve to do. I'm going to use it.
To blackmail him?
Oh, no. I'm just going to tell him where his wife is and what she is.
Oh, no, you're not.
Huh? And who's going to stop me?
I am. You're not going to ruin my son's career, Tony. I'm not the type to stand by and see you wreck his life.
Yeah? Well, what do you think you're going to do about it?
It's very simple.
Huh? Put that gun down. You don't scare me.
I'm not trying to scare you.
You know where you'll land, don't you?
That doesn't worry me. I can't last much longer anyway, so I've got nothing to lose. You have.
Sure, about $10,000 if I let you bluff me out of it, but you can't, see? Because I'm going to see him right now, tonight.
I'm not bluffing. I mean it. Stay away from my husband.
Get out of my way.
I'm warning you. Stay away from my husband.
I'll show you what I think of you and your warnings.
Don't open that door.
Well, why don't you shoot?
Stay away from that door, I tell you.
So long, bluffer.
What's the matter? What happened?
He's in there. Take in that room.
Stop. I heard her. What's going on up here?
Oh, she's killed him.
Grab that woman. I'll get the police. Come here, you.
Take your hands off me. I did it. I'm not trying to escape. I killed him.
Before going on with Madam X, let's stop a minute in a bright and shining little kitchen near Glendale. Brother Bob is staying overnight with Walter and Sally. Walter has just gone out to put the car up. Sally is about to do the dishes while Bob leans against the cupboard near the door.
Oh, Lux Flakes. So you use Lux for dishes, too?
Indeed I do. No dishpan hands for me.
Yeah, that's what Kay says, too.
And she ought to know. Remember how she complained last winter about dishwashing making her hands sore?
You bet I do. Just about the time you came out here for a visit.
Honestly, I didn't believe a girl's hands could look so rough and red. All split around the nails, too. And all because she was using a harsh soap for dishes.
Trying to save money, she said.
Well, I got her to change to Lux. Honestly, it was almost unbelievable how much better her hands looked in just the short time I was there. She says she finds Lux isn't at all expensive.
She sure is proud of her hands now. But I didn't know she had you to thank for it.
Not me. It's the makers of Lux she should thank. Lux hasn't any harmful alkali, you know. It gets the dishes clean in no time at all. Look, I'm practically through already, thanks to...
To me, as inspiration.
But most of all, to Lux.
Once again, Mr. DeMille.
Anne Harding, James Stewart, and Conway Turl continue in Madam X. Arrested for the murder of Tony Phillips, Jacqueline is taken to police headquarters. In an office of the Homicide Bureau, she sits in the glare of a blinding electric lamp. Two detectives are cross-questioning her. Captain Keene leans close and raps his hand sharply on the table.
Come on. You admit that you killed a man by the name of Tony Phillips. You admit you went to the Hotel Trent for the purpose of shooting him dead. Now, who was he? What was he to you?
He was nothing to me.
And why did you kill him?
I won't tell you.
You must have had a reason. What was it?
I won't tell you.
All right, sister. But you're making it a lot tougher for yourself. You know that, don't you? You know what'll happen to you, don't you?
Yes. Yes, I know what will happen to me.
And why don't you come clean? Come on, give us the dope. We're only trying to help you.
I have nothing to say.
You're waiting for your lawyer, is that it?
I've no lawyer.
But you're going to have one.
No.
No use, Chief. Let her send her back till we get a chance to work on this thing.
Wait a minute, Murphy. I'm going to give you one more chance, sister. I won't ask you who the man was. I won't ask you why you shot him. All I want to know is one thing. Who are you? What's your name? Where do you come from? Come on. What's your name? You can tell us that, can't you? What's your name? Who are you? All right, Murphy. Send her back.
Flynn,
Yes, sir.
take her back to her cell.
This way, sister.
Well, that was a nice waste of time.
I don't see what you're so worried about, Chief. It's an open and shut case. She walked into a hotel room and drilled a guy. She admits it, even.
Yeah, sure she admits it, but how do you know what she'll admit when she gets on the stand? That's what counts, Murphy. What she says in front of 12 good men and true.
You say the same thing. She didn't even want a lawyer.
Well, the court will take care of that for her.
Yeah.
They'll appoint someone to represent her.
Some kid, probably, who can't even find his way to the witness chair. She sure is a sucker for not talking.
In the interest of justice, it is the duty of this court to see that the accused is ably represented by counsel. To that end, and to assure the accused of a just trial in accordance with the laws of this state, the court hereby appoints as counsel for the defendant, Raymond Cartwright.
Hello, Dad.
Well, come in, Raymond.
Well, I've got it.
Got what?
My first big case. Look me over.
Good boy. The first one's always the hardest, you know.
Yeah, don't I know it? Of course, there's not much glory attached to this one. It's one of those assignments.
Oh, well, it's a start, Raymond.
Well, that's the way I look at it.
Criminal case, I suppose.
Yeah, she's charged with murder.
Oh, a woman, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Any evidence?
Well, that's the whole trouble, you know. It's all evidence. She admits everything. She won't talk about it. Won't even give her name.
Oh, yes. I think I read something about it in the papers this morning. What is it the reporters are calling her?
Yeah, trust them to give it a name. They're calling her Madam X.
That's it, yes. Well, they've handed you a nice one for your first case. How are you handling it?
Well, I haven't decided that yet.
Well, you have to get her to talk. Any luck so far?
No, I haven't even seen her. She wasn't in the court when I got the assignment. I'm seeing her at the Tombs at 4 o'clock. I don't know what I can do for her if she won't give me anything to go on. And, well, if she admits everything now, it's sort of hopeless, I guess.
Well, you can't tell. You can admit the murder and still get an acquittal, you know. Temporary insanity, self-defense, extenuating circumstances. Oh, it's been done before.
Yeah, I know, but isn't that sort of drawing it a little far?
No, not a bit. You see, justice is a funny thing. There's a district attorney on one side, a counsel for the defense on the other. Your job is to present your client's case in its most favorable light, just as it's the DA's job to convict her, if possible. If you can dig up any facts that might conceivably influence a jury to vote not guilty, it's your right and your duty to use those facts. A human life depends on it. Depends on you.
Yes, I know. It's a big responsibility, isn't it?
Yes. Anything I could do to help?
Well, no, thanks. I'd rather have this myself. I mean...
Of course. We'll go to it. And the best of luck.
Thanks, Dad.
Make her talk, you're a better man than the whole homicide squad.
How long has she been in here?
10 days. She ought to come to trial pretty soon. No use in delaying on these open and shut cases.
Have you questioned her since you brought her in?
Every day. She won't talk. She won't even eat. She just sits there and stares at you. It's enough to give a man the creeps.
You still won't give her name, huh?
No. She says her name is Williams. Laura Williams. She admits it's a phony. It's only for the records. Here we are. You've got a visitor, sister. Go ahead, son.
Thanks. I'd like to see her alone, of course.
Sure. I'll be at the end of the corridor. Just yell when you want me.
How do you do?
What do you want with me? If you've been sent here to question me, you're wasting your time. I've nothing to say. I've told them that.
Oh, no, I'm not an officer. I'm your attorney.
I told them I didn't want an attorney.
No, but you have to have someone to plead your case. You see, that's the law. I was appointed by the judge.
Well?
Well, if I'm to represent you, I've got to know something about you. Who you are, where you came from. You'll tell me that, won't you?
My name is Laura Williams.
Oh, but that's not your real name.
They asked me my name for the records. I told them my name was Laura Williams. That's all I have to say.
But
That's all I have to say.
Well, you're not being very fair. You're not being fair to yourself or to me either.
You?
Yes, You see, this is my first case.
Oh.
That doesn't sound very encouraging, does it? But I think I can help you. That is, if you'll just give me the chance. Now, I did want to make a showing on this. So if you don't want to do it for yourself, perhaps you'd be willing to help me.
You're very young, aren't you?
Oh, I'm 24.
24. I had a son. He'd be 24 now, too. And he's just...
Then he's alive.
I didn't say that.
I'm sorry. I know it hurts to be reminded when you've lost someone near to you.
Have you ever lost anyone?
Yes, my mother.
How?
Well, she died some time ago.
Oh.
But we were speaking of your son. Now, he's still alive.
I'd rather not talk about it.
Has he anything to do with the man that was shot?
No. Oh, let me alone. Please, just let me alone.
But I've got to defend you.
I don't want to be defended. I killed that man. I walked into his room at the Hotel Trent and I shot him. Is there anything more to be said? I'm perfectly willing to pay for what I did.
But don't you see, there may be no reason why you should pay. That's all I'm trying to find out, just what the motive was. You see, you might have had a good reason to kill him.
I did.
Well, did he threaten you in any way?
No.
It wasn't self-defense then?
No.
Did he threaten anyone near to you?
No.
Your son, perhaps?
No. Why do you keep bringing up my son?
Well, it's the only thing I know about you. That you have or had a son. I'm just groping in the dark, that's all, trying to help you. You can't blame me for that. It's just my job.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, too, that this had to be your first case. But you mustn't take it too much to heart. Everything's against you. Nobody expects you to win.
Hello, Hotel Trent. What name, please? Just a moment, please. Hello, room service? Hold on a minute. Hello, Hotel Trent. Yes, ma'am. What name, please? Oh, one moment, please.
Excuse me.
What do you want?
The manager said I could speak to you for a minute.
Yeah? Take my calls, will you, Francis?
Okay.
Well?
My name is Raymond Cartwright. Are you the girl that was on the switchboard the night the man was shot in 518?
Yeah, why?
Now, I want you to think hard. Try to remember. Did he receive any calls that night?
Yeah, he got a call about 8 o'clock.
You're sure?
Sure, it was a man called. I remember because it was just a couple of minutes before the fellow was shot.
You didn't tell the police?
Well, I didn't think it was important, was it?
Oh, that's all right, that's all right. Now, look. When that man called, did he mention his name? Now, come on, think hard. Now, come on.
Yeah. He said his name was, wait a minute now, Harper. Harper, that's what it was, Joe Harper.
You're sure of that?
Yeah, we always ask what name. And I remember because my boyfriend's name is Harper, and I thought...
All right, that's fine, thanks.
Huh.
You keep this quiet, will you?
Oh, sure.
Hello? Yes? Well, what'd you find? Well, now keep looking. Will you try the city directory? Try anything you can think of. Now, we've got to locate this Joe Harper before we go on trial. All right, thanks. Oh.
Any luck, son?
No, nothing yet. If I could just get this man Harper, I might learn something. I've got 2 men working on it right now.
Well, what about the woman? Have you asked her?
She doesn't know him. If she does, she's not saying. I can't get her to talk about this case. She's just not interested. They brought her the notice of the trial. She didn't even read it. You know, she doesn't even know my name, and I'm defending her.
When do you go to trial?
Thursday morning.
Doesn't leave you much time, does it?
I tried to postpone it, couldn't get it. You know, Dad, it's funny. This thing's got me.
Well, that's natural. Your first criminal case?
No, that's not the reason. There's just something about that woman. Something I can't explain.
You think she's innocent?
No, but I have a feeling somehow that what she did, she had a good reason for doing. She was protecting someone. I'm sure of it.
Well, silence seems a pretty good indication of that. I'd use that point in the summing up, if I were you.
Oh, I'm going to. Don't know what good it'll do, but the only thing I've got to go on so far.
She's never given you anything else?
No, except that first day about her son. She talks to me now, though.
What about?
Oh, about everything except herself. She sort of rambles on as if I weren't there. But every once in a while I catch a glimpse of something in her life. Something dark and sordid, something that's been gnawing at her for years. And she's been through hell, that woman. It's in her eyes. But then there's something beautiful there, too. Something I've got to save if I can.
I think you will, son. If you feel like that, I don't think there's anything can stop you.
I'm going to see her once more, just before the trial. I'm going to ask her if she'll go on the stand.
You think there's a chance?
Well, I don't know. I can only try.
I think I'll be there to watch you, son. You know, I've got a feeling that I'm going to be very proud of you. Whether you win or lose makes no difference. Remember that, my boy.
All right. I'll be ready for us in just a few minutes. We're just waiting for the judge. You feel all right?
I'm all right. I just wish it were over, that's all.
Now, before we go out there, I'm going to ask one favor of you. Now, please don't refuse me.
What is it?
Well, I want you to take the stand. Testify for yourself.
No, I can't do that.
Now, you won't have to tell them anything. I just want that jury to hear you speak.
I'm sorry. I don't like to refuse you, but I can't do that.
I'm sorry, too. I've tried to help you.
Now, don't feel badly about it. There's nothing more you can do for me. I appreciate what you've already done. You've been very kind.
You know, you've never even asked my name.
Names? They don't matter very much. It's what you are that counts. And you've been kind. Thank you. You don't know what it's meant to have someone to talk to, someone who understands things as you do. I'd have gone mad just waiting there.
Tell me, haven't you any friends at all?
Oh, I did have one. I think I had everything that a woman could ask for. But I made one mistake, and I threw it all away. And it's so easy to keep on making mistakes once you've started. There's no turning back then. You just go on, step by step, always a little lower, till at last there's nothing left but memories and bitterness, an ache in your heart for what you might have been. They say time heals everything. I don't believe that. I've never been able to forget. I've never wanted to. That's why I'm glad it's over now. I'll find peace where I'm going. Peace and rest. And I need them so.
Come in, please.
Almost ready.
All right, thank you.
I'll be right outside here when you want me, Mr. Cartwright.
Cartwright? Is that your name?
Well, yes, I'm Raymond Cartwright.
Oh, God!
What is it? Well, why do you stare at me like that?
You're going to defend me?
Well, yes, of course. Now, that's why I want you to go on the stand, just to tell them.
You don't know what you're saying. You don't know what it means.
What's the matter? Here, give me your hand. Now, get hold of yourself, please.
All right. I'll be all right. Now.
We pause for station identification. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
KMX, Los Angeles, the voice of Hollywood.
Anne Harding, James Stewart, and Conway Turl return shortly in Madam X. Tonight's play concerns one type of court. Now we hear from a young woman who's made history on another kind. 7 times Wimbledon tennis champion, 7 times United States champion, and 4 times champion of France. An unequaled record. Helen Wills Moody, as one of the greatest of all women athletes. I introduce her tonight with the hope that she'll settle a question in the mind of everyone who follows this sport of king and commoner. Mrs. Moody, have you given up tournament tennis for good? Or is there a chance you'll return?
I should like to go on one more tour, which would include Wimbledon and Forest Hills. It's difficult, however, to leave home for such a long time as is required for the summer tournaments. But there's something irresistible about tennis, and I find myself playing regularly at home in San Francisco 4 or 5 times a week.
In a few days, the matches will begin at Wimbledon. That must be rather a hard call for you to resist.
Indeed it is, but after all, it isn't Wimbledon or championships that make tennis such a grand game. It's the finest sport in the world because it's everybody's game, a sport for all ages. When I was in Stockholm, I played with King Gustav of Sweden, who's still on the courts in his late 70s. Here in Hollywood, you'll find many of the stars playing remarkably well, not only for exercise, but because they know tennis develops poise. Among them are stars like Errol Flynn, Clark Gable, Gilbert Rowland, Warner Baxter, Greta Garbo, Ronald Coleman, and Merle Oberon.
I understand that now you're devoting a lot of time to designing clothes and painting. How does an artist's brush feel in a hand accustomed to a tennis racket?
The fields are not so far removed as you may think, Mr. DeMille. The action of a tennis game, the sweep of the strokes, the graceful lines, the rhythm of motion, are qualities that lend themselves very readily to an etching or a pencil sketch. Look at a good painting, and then at a good game of tennis, and you'll find a kindred artistry. As for clothes, my interest in designing was stimulated when I once found myself with a match on my hands, but no outfit. I was in a large city, and yet couldn't find a store that had sensible sport clothes. Most of my designs have been for active sportwear, but I have also done some bathing suits and street dresses. Since I've been doing this designing work, my attention has been called to the problem of keeping up the attractiveness of sportwear, and I know that the answer has been found in the use of Lux Flakes. Sportwear lasts longer, looks better, and stays fresher when cared for with a splendid product responsible for this program.
It's obvious, Mrs. Moody, that you believe in having a variety of interests.
Yes, I believe if you have one main interest and a variety of lesser interests, it makes for greater happiness. In proof of which, I've also tried my hand at writing, and I've just completed a book. I've called it 15 to 30, because it deals not only with tennis, but with the experiences I've had and what I hope I've learned during those years. All my thanks, Mr. DeMille, for asking me to appear in the Lux Radio Theater.
I'm sure you'll be a champion among authors, too. And now, back to the story of Madam X, starring Anne Harding and James Stewart with Conway Turl. The knowledge that our own son is to defend her seals Jacqueline's lips even tighter than before. We're in the courtroom, where the trial is almost ready to begin. In the enclosure near the judge's bench, Alan Cartwright sits at a long table. Beside him is his old friend, Dr. Chesney, who's come to hear Raymond plead his first case.
Has Raymond any kind of a chance at all, Alan?
Well, not on the facts alone, Perry. But he'll make a good showing. He's convinced in some manner that the crime was justifiable. He's got his heart in it. That's always a help.
He's a little young to be swaying juries on sentiment alone.
Well, we'll see.
The court will please rise. The Court of General Sessions is now in order. The Honorable Gerald M. Darrett presiding. Be seated, please.
The case of the people versus Laura Williams.
There she is. She's just come in with Raymond.
He looks worried. I hope he... Good God, Perry!
What is it?
That woman. Look at her. Who is she, Perry?
It does look like... but she can't be, of course.
It is. It's Jacqueline. Jacqueline here in this court. On trial for murder.
Sit down, Alan.
I've got to speak to her.
You can't do that, not now. Besides, you're not even certain that it is Jacqueline.
Not certain. My God. Don't you think I know her face? Haven't I seen it every time I've closed my eyes for the last 20 years?
Oh, that you can't do anything. It's too late, man. It's in Raymond's hand now.
Her son. Her own son. And he doesn't know.
There's nothing to be done now, Alan. Nothing.
You sit down right over here. Face the bench.
Thank you.
Feel better now?
Yes.
The state ready?
Ready, Your Honor.
Defendant ready?
Ready, Your Honor.
Proceed with the case, please.
The State versus Laura Williams. The defendant is charged with the willful murder of one Tony Phillips on the night of May 4th, 1937.
These, gentlemen of the jury, are the facts that the State will bring forward. By the defendant's own admission, she committed an act of murder. But the law of this State is such that we cannot force her to testify against herself. Therefore, the State will present its witnesses as rapidly as possible. Witnesses who were at the scene of the crime only a few seconds after its commission. The first witness, a woman who had the adjoining room, will swear to this.
I was alone in my room, and I heard a shot. I ran out into the hall, and
I didn't hear the shot, but when I got out there were about 4 or 5 people standing around the door of room 518. They were banging on it. I ran up to the door and tried to find out.
There she was, standing over him with a gun in her hand. The gun was still smoking. She said, "I killed him. I'm not trying to escape. I killed him." That's all she'd say. And then I went downstairs to find an officer. I came back to the room.
And that, gentlemen, is the case as presented by the State. The counsel for the defense has shown no flaw in any of the testimony he's heard, nor has he offered to produce any witnesses to refute this testimony. Your Honor, gentlemen of the jury, the State rests.
Now, please, we can't let it just go at that. You've got to speak. You've got to tell
No,
me.
don't say any more. Don't try to defend me. Let them send the jury out now. It can't make any difference, Raymond.
Why do you call me Raymond?
I don't know.
You did it once before, too.
I'm sorry.
No, please. Please, but you say it as if it had some meaning to you.
Do I?
Will counsel for the defense present his case, please?
No, don't say anything.
Please, I've got to. Your Honor, gentlemen of the jury, you have just heard the State's case, and you have heard no denials by the defendant. The defense has no witnesses to present, and I am frank to admit that the defendant, in spite of my counsel, has repeatedly refused to take the stand on her own behalf. Now, this would seem to indicate that she has reason to be afraid, but we must look deeper than that. Now, this woman, gentlemen, whom you see before you, has admitted her guilt openly. She has nothing to lose by testifying. On the contrary, she has only to gain by it. But still she refuses. Now, there must be some reason for this. And from my conversations with her before this trial opened, I am firmly convinced that she is keeping silent for one purpose, and for one purpose only. To protect and shield someone near to her. Someone she loves. Yes, gentlemen, there is a mystery surrounding this woman that newspapers have called Madam X. Who is she? Where does she come from? Whom is she shielding? Whom is she protecting? Is it a husband, a daughter, a son?
No, don't.
She told me she had a son of my age. And she refused to speak any more of him, but he lives. Now, perhaps he faced some great danger. I don't know what, but she knew, and she killed to protect him from it. Now, you will say that this is supposition. Well, it is, gentlemen. It is supposition. But our law states that where there is a reasonable doubt of guilt, the defendant must be deemed innocent. Well, there is doubt here. Not as to actual fact, but as to motive. And the courts of our state have recognized time after time, case after case, that there is such a thing as justifiable homicide.
Let me through here. Let me through.
Order there.
Your Honor, I'd like to speak to the counsel for defense, please.
Counsel for defense is summing up his case. This is no time.
Your Honor, if the court so pleases, this man is in my employ. Now, if he wants to speak to me now, I assure you it has direct bearing upon the case.
Very well. Go ahead.
All right, what is it?
Joe Harper. I found him.
What, is he here now?
Sure. I served him with subpoenas and I found
All right.
him.
Now get him up here quick. Your Honor, I ask the court's pardon for this interruption. I also ask the court for permission to introduce a witness for the defense.
I object. The counsel has already begun his summation.
A human life is at stake here. Objection overruled.
Your Honor, I ask the court to call Joseph Harper.
Joseph Harper to the stand.
Raise your right hand.
Gentlemen of the jury, I have never seen this witness. Now, his testimony may act to the advantage of the defendant. It may act to her disadvantage. But regardless of that, I believe he knows something about this case. What's your name?
Joseph Harper.
Where do you live, please?
618 West 74th Street.
Now, I want you to look at the defendant. Have you ever seen her before?
No.
You don't know who she is?
No.
Now, tell me this. Did you ever know a man by the name of Tony Phillips? Did you?
Yeah.
Did you call him on the telephone at the Hotel Trent on the night of May the 4th?
I guess so.
No, did you or didn't you? Answer the question.
Yes.
Well, why did you call him?
Well, he asked me to.
When was that?
A week before. He sent me a telegram.
From New York?
No, San Francisco. He wanted me to do him a favor.
What was that favor?
Well, he asked me to get some information for him.
What about?
Do I have to answer that?
What about?
Well, it was about a person that he was trying to...
No, don't answer. Don't answer, do you hear? No, don't let him tell. Take him off the stand. Don't question him anymore. I'll do anything you want. I'll do anything. But please don't let him speak for my sake, please. True what you said. I was protecting someone. It was my son. The man I killed was going to blackmail him and my husband because of me. He was going to wreck my son's life and my husband's career because of what I was and what I am now. That's why I couldn't speak. That's why I can never speak. In God's name, please don't ask me to tell. Don't ask me to give up my life for nothing. I'm not afraid to die if I know that he'll be safe. He's my son. My son whom I've never known and who's never known me. You can take my life. It's a worthless thing anyway, but please let him have his.
Oh, she's fainted. Here, get a doctor, quick.
How is she, Betty? Has she come around yet?
Not quite. She's in pretty bad shape, Alan. Where's Raymond?
Asked him to wait to the corridor.
Did you tell him about Jacqueline?
Yes. It wasn't easy, Betty.
How did he take it?
He wanted to come in to see her. I made him wait for the jury to come back. He'll get an acquittal. It's almost sure.
I wonder how much good it will do, Alan.
What do you mean?
Oh.
She's coming, too.
Jacqueline, do you hear me?
Alan.
Yes, darling.
I saw you in the court. I was so afraid you'd tell.
I wanted to, Jacqueline.
No. Better this way. Much better.
I know everything you've done has been for me and Raymond. I can't tell you.
Don't cry.
You told me once that I'd never forgive myself for what I did. I never have, Jacqueline. I tried to find you. Oh, so many times. But I'll make it all up to you. I swear I will. I'll make you happy again, Jacqueline.
I'm happy now. So very happy.
Come here, Raymond.
Raymond, does he know?
Yes, I know, Mother.
Oh, Raymond.
It's all over, Mother. The jury's come in and they've acquitted you. We can go home now.
Home? I only wish I could.
But you can. You're going to.
Give me your hand, Raymond. My son. All these years I've been so proud of you. And all these years you thought of me as a dream mother who died long ago when she was young and pretty. Please try to go on thinking that. For my sake.
But I've found you, Mother. I can't lose you again so quickly.
That isn't in our hands, Raymond.
I don't know what you mean.
Now, you mustn't be sad.
You mustn't think too much about me. Because I'm not sad. I'm happy, Raymond. Happier than I've ever been in all my life.
Mother? Mother? Dr. Chesney, what is it?
We found her. Too late, my boy.
Anne Harding and James Stewart step from their tragic roles and speak to us as themselves in just a moment. From a different part of the country, we now present another Madam X and her son, whose name also is Raymond. They will tell their own story, this time the actual story of a mother and son lost to each other for 18 years. Today they're reunited, but up until now have refused all requests to tell their amazing story to the world. This evening they consented to come to the Lux Radio Theater and tell it in person. It's my pleasure to introduce to you the young gentleman and his mother who present their proof of the adage that truth is often stranger than fiction. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Raymond Meir and his mother, who speak to you from New York.
Thank you, Mr. DeMille. For the last 18 years, I have believed my mother dead. Every time I asked my father about her, the only answer I could get was that she had died when I was 3 years old. My father had remarried in the meantime, and 2 years ago, he died. A year and a half ago, I got a job ushering at the Paramount here in New York, where I am now assistant chief usher. 2 months ago, on my day off, I was in the neighborhood and happened to stop in at the theater, and there I was handed a message. It was sent by my stepmother, and all it said was, "Your mother is in town and wants to speak to you." I have read stories like that, and I have seen such things happen in the movies. Madam X is one, I remember. But I never thought it would happen to me. But you had known, hadn't you, Mother, that someday it would happen?
Yes, Raymond. I just knew that you were alive, and even if I couldn't find you, I could hope I might someday.
Do you know why my father would never let you see me?
He had his ideas of how to bring you up, and I had mine. We couldn't agree. We separated, and he traveled a great deal, and once he took you with him. I never saw you again. But, Raymond, you tell the story.
All right.
I'd rather just listen to you.
All right. My mother tried every means to find me for 15 years, but she never could. Finally, 2 months ago, she did discover a clue to where I had been working. She went to that firm in New York, and as it turned out, the woman she interviewed there was my stepmother. Neither knew who the other was. My mother asked for me, and my stepmother, not knowing her, was very cautious at first. They took a liking to each other, and finally, my mother revealed her identity. Then my stepmother did the same. The whole story came out then, and convinced of the truth of it, my stepmother sent that message to me at the Paramount. I went to her office immediately, and she told me to go to a certain address where my mother was staying with friends. I went, and when I walked into the room and saw Mother, I thought I must be looking into a mirror. We looked so much alike.
Raymond, I never even asked you. How did you feel when you first saw me?
I don't really know. I was so stunned that I don't know whether I felt anything, really. I can't even remember what I said. And I'm not sure I know what you said, do you?
No, I just remember. All of a sudden, I couldn't see you. I guess I was crying.
Very soon after my mother and I were reunited, we began checking over places we had been, where we might have met. We discovered that 1 month before she found me, she had been in New York, and some friends insisted that she go to the movies with them. They went to the Paramount, and as my mother still says, it was very dark inside. Maybe you are the young man who took me to my seat. And now, Mother, I think it's time we said goodbye.
From Hollywood, we send our thanks to Mr. Meir and his mother, and the hope that their newfound happiness will be with them always. Before Mr. DeMille brings Anne Harding and James Stewart back to the microphone, may I remind you that the Lux Radio Theater comes to you through the courtesy of the makers of Lux Flakes. The familiar blue box has a friendly place in most of the homes you know. These gentle flakes are made especially to safeguard fine silks and woolens. You'll find them kind to everything that is safe in clear water alone. Again, our producer, Mr. DeMille.
Back to our microphone. come Anne Harding and James Stewart, giving us, among other things, a chance to learn from Miss Harding her impressions of the stage and screen in England.
Well, I'm afraid I'm hardly the right person to ask about English pictures, Mr. DeMille. I did make a picture in England, but an American produced it, an American directed it, and the cameraman was an American.
Well, then how about the English stage, Miss Harding?
Well, now, it isn't safe to start me on that subject. Playing on the English stage was a marvelous experience.
Isn't it rather strange that George Bernard Shaw's play, Candida, wasn't given a major production in London for 37 years? In fact, not till you went over to star in it.
Well, I could hardly believe it when they told me that. It was pretty exciting to find that it was such a success. What have you been doing, Mr. Stewart? When I left Hollywood a year ago, everyone was talking about that amazing young actor who lived with Henry Fonda, owned 30 cats, and played the accordion.
We know Henry Fonda married, but what happened to the cats and the accordion?
I don't know. Whatever attracted the cats in the first place, I don't know. They just seemed to come around. They haven't caught up with me yet. Every night I play the accordion to sort of discourage them.
Are the neighbors in sympathy?
Well, I just asked them which they'd prefer, an accordion or a troop of 30 yowling cats. I guess it's a case of the lesser of two evils.
What do they say to that?
Well, sir, I hardly ever get a civil answer. But, Mr. DeMille, I meant to ask you about this. In case you need an accordion player for the Buccaneer, you remember Stewart's name.
Thanks, Jimmy. But after all, even the pirate can endure just so much. Goodbye, Jimmy. You're a very remarkable fellow.
Thank you, Miss Harding and Mr. Stewart. This is your announcer, ladies and gentlemen, Melville Ruick. Next week's Stars and Play will be told shortly by Mr. DeMille. James Stewart appeared through courtesy of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Studios, Mr. DeMille, Paramount, and Louis Silvers, 20th Century Fox, where he was in charge of music for the new picture, This Is My Affair. Our play was based on John Raphael's adaptation of the original by Alexandre Besson. And here is Mr. DeMille.
To the ever-popular Booth Tarkington, we're indebted for the story which comes to us next Monday night. A story whose suspense and delightful romance have ranked it as a classic of its kind ever since Richard Mansfield brought it to the stage many years ago. Its title, Monsieur Beaucaire. I'm especially pleased to announce that filling the title role will be one of the greatest artists of our time, Mr. Leslie Howard. And starring with him, Alyssa Landy. Our sponsors, the makers of Lux Flakes, join me in inviting you to be with us again next Monday night when the Lux Radio Theater presents Leslie Howard and Alyssa Landy in Monsieur Beaucaire. This is Cecil B. DeMille saying good night to you from Hollywood.
This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
KNX, the Columbia Station, Los Angeles.
In just a moment, you'll hear James Stewart as the six-shooter, just one of the many great stars brought to you on Sundays on NBC. Every Sunday, hear Hume Cronin and Jessica Tandy in The Marriage, Sir Laurence Olivier on Theatre Royal, and Lawrence Tibbett with the Golden Voices, Helen Hayes, Frederick March, Rex Harrison, and Lily Palmer on the NBC Star Playhouse. All of them heard only on NBC. James Stewart as the six-shooter. Your vacation, both guaranteed. Ask your employer about buying United States savings bonds through the payroll savings plan, and then join. Now, Act One of The Six-Shooter, starring James Stewart.
The wind had died down, and it was quiet now. The only thing I could hear was the creek trickling away about 20 feet down from where I'd made camp for the night. I shifted my blanket, turned over on one side, The moon came out, and I could see the water skimming along, washing the pebbles clean. And, gee, it's funny the way the sound of a crick always makes you drowsy. And I started to close my eyes, and then I got that same feeling again, that feeling I'd had all day. Scar fella, too. Ever since we turned off the main road into the trail to Petersville, I'd had a hunch that there was another horse not very far behind. Whoever was riding him managed to keep out of sight, but it was the same kind of a hunch you get when you feel a pair of eyes drilling into the back of your neck and then turn around and spot somebody staring at you. Scar hadn't been traveling very fast. Anybody could have caught us. It was real easy. The fellow back there hadn't wanted to catch up. That is, if my hunch was right. It wouldn't be the first time I played the wrong hunch. No point of losing sleep over it, anyhow. It was Scar that woke me up. I could see a shadow over by my pile of grub, and not more than 6-8 feet away. I inched my hand from under the blanket, and I got a grip on my gun. Oh, you looking for something, mister? Now. Hold on. Oh, just a minute. Hold on now. There. That's better. I'd kind of like to find out why you're pretty young to be roaming around this country, aren't you, son?
I'm 11.
Ah. You the fellow's been following me all day?
It's a free trail, ain't it?
Yeah, guess it is.
Then you ain't got no right to interfere with my riding over it.
Oh, that's true enough. But, you haven't got much right stealing my grub, either.
I didn't steal any.
Well, that's what you were fixing to do, isn't it?
Maybe.
Ah. Now, if you're hungry, you're welcome to it. I got plenty of grub here, but you just didn't have to come sneaking around to...
I didn't know who you was. I was afraid you might try to send me back home.
Uh-huh. Well, just where is home?
Crescent.
Oh. Well, if you'll stir up the fire, I'll see what I can do about heating up some beans. How's that sound?
I'd appreciate it.
Good. All right. Hand me that pan over there, will you? There we are.
You won't tell nobody you ran into me, will you, mister? You won't tell them you seen me.
Well,
You're not taking me back to Crescent. No matter what happens, I'm not going back there. You understand that?
Now, take it easy now. You're not the first boy to run away from home. Far from it. Most of them hike off when they're about your age, but they don't usually miss more than one meal before they turn back. At least I didn't. What happened? Your dad give you a whipping?
No, sir. My pop wouldn't hurt me either. He's a fine man. The finest man that ever lived.
Sure, yeah. Well, here's your beans.
I'm heading for Petersville to find my father. He told me when I was big enough I could join up with him. Well, big enough now, ain't I?
Yeah, you're a real good-sized boy for 11. Say that much. How come you haven't been staying with your dad?
He moves around a lot.
Oh, I see.
So I've been living with Aunt Aggie ever since Ma died. But it's not the same as being with your own pa.
No, I guess it isn't.
And I made up my mind. As soon as I found out where he was, I was going to him.
You sure your dad's in Petersville?
Aunt Aggie got a letter from here last Monday. I heard her talking to Uncle Ray about it and heard him mention Pa's name. He sounded kind of worried, like something had happened to him.
Uh-huh.
Then when they saw me, they shut up. You reckon Pa's sick? You reckon that's what they were talking about?
I don't know, son. It could be that.
I asked them what was in the letter, but they wouldn't tell me. Now I'm going to find out for myself.
Well, seeing how I'm heading for Petersville, too, I guess there's no reason why we shouldn't ride along together. And if we're going to be traveling companions, we ought to introduce ourselves, don't you think?
My name's Larkin. Rink Larkin.
Oh, pleased to meet you, Rank. I'm Britt Ponsett.
Britt Ponsett?
That's right.
Fellow they call a six-shooter? Gee whiz, Mr. Ponsett. I didn't mean to talk back to you the way I did. If I'd known who you was... Say, would you mind showing me your gun? Heard folks talk about that gun of yours ever since I was a kid.
Yeah, sure. Here, catch.
Boy. Ain't near as heavy as it looks.
Well, you know about guns, Rank?
Some. Want to see me give it a twirl?
Sure, let's see. Oh, hey, that's fine. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Of course, it ain't the way you do it, though. But here, Mr. Ponce, thanks for showing it to me.
Sure. Well, I guess we still got a couple hours before sunup. Why don't you bring your horse over here by the fire? Maybe we can get some shut-eye.
Good idea. Oh, Mr. Ponce.
Yeah?
I'm mighty pleased I bumped into you tonight.
So am I, Rank. So am I. We got an early start the next morning. That is, considering that it took me almost half an hour to get Rank awake and on his feet. It was about 4 o'clock when we got into Petersville. I'd been through that way for a couple of years, but the town, it hadn't changed much. About the only thing different I saw was a new livery stable and a fresh coat of green paint on the Jackson Hotel. Men playing checkers in the front porch, they hadn't changed at all. Except maybe their beards a little grayer. Of course, my hair wasn't exactly the same shade it used to be, you know. But that was from being out in the sun so much. At least that's how I figured it. Well, we pulled up beside a yellow adobe building right next door to the hotel and climbed off our horses. Well, come on, Rank. Let's go inside and see what we can find out about your father.
That's the sheriff's office.
Mm-hmm. Sure, he'll know where he is. If any... What's the matter, Rank?
I don't like sheriffs, that's all.
Haven't been giving you trouble, have they?
I don't like him neither. Heard him say so once. He was talking to a friend of his and heard him say how he hated some sheriff.
Oh, well, I don't imagine he was talking about Sheriff Jay. There's good sheriffs and bad sheriffs, like everything else. But most of them are good. Come on now, come on.
Britt Ponce.
Hello, Sheriff. Hi.
What in thunderation you doing in Petersville?
Well, the widow Jenkins is going east for her daughter's wedding. She asked me to look after her place while she's away.
Well, it sure is good to see you. Say, who's your friend here?
No, this is Rink, Sheriff. He was coming to Petersville, too, so we decided to ride along together.
Pleased to meet you, son.
Howdy.
Matter of fact, that's why we stopped in to talk to you. Rink wants to find out about his father.
I'd be glad to help out if I can. What's his name, son?
Larkin. Earl Larkin.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry. You're just a couple of hours too late.
Too late?
I wrote to your pa's sister in Crescent. Her answer came in on the morning stage. She said she didn't want your pa's body for us to bury him here. Funeral was this morning.
Pa's dead?
But, wait, you knew about him being killed, didn't you? Your aunt told you.
I guess she didn't, Sheriff.
Oh, I didn't mean to blurt it out, Britt. I figured...
How?
I thought...
How did it happen?
We don't have to talk about that now, son.
I want to know. What happened?
Look, suppose you come up to my house for supper, huh? After you've had a nice home-cooked meal.
It won't do you no good to stall, Sheriff. I want to know who killed him.
You'll find out anyway, Sheriff.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess he will. All right, son. It was me.
You?
Marshal over at Atterbury sent word that Larkin and his pal Cliff Traeger were heading this way. I'd heard about him before. I knew what to expect. He rode into town about noontime. I was waiting inside the bank. I had deputized some of the boys, and they were with me. Your pa and Traeger didn't have a chance, son, but they shot it out anyway. Wouldn't drop their guns, even though we had the draw on them. Traeger, he got away into the hills. But Larkin... I'm really sorry, son. Sorry I had to be the one to do it. And even sorrier, I had to tell you about it.
You're a liar. A dirty, stinking liar. My pa never tried to rob no bank. You take it back, what you said about him. I'll make you take it back, every word.
Now, you...
Dirty, rotten...
Now, Rink, here, get a hold of yourself here now.
Go on me. You killed my pa. He's a murderer.
Now, Rink! I didn't want to hit you, Rink, but I got...
Why shouldn't you hit me? You're his friend, ain't you? He killed my pa, and you're his friend.
I think I ought to go after him, Britt. Try to explain.
No, I expect it's best to leave him by himself for a while.
But this wasn't the first holdup Larkin and Traeger tried to pull, not by a long shot. I didn't have no chance.
Yeah?
Well, someday the boy will understand. Someday when he's older.
Yeah. Well, the trouble is, things don't wait for a person to reach the understanding age. They happen anyway, whether a person's ready for them or not. It doesn't look like Rink's ready. Not for this, anyway.
We'll return to James Stewart as the six-shooter in just a moment. Monday night brings magnificent musical programs to the NBC radio network. It's an evening designed for restful relaxation. A time to sit back in your favorite chair and listen to melodies old and new on such famous programs as The Voice of Firestone, The Railroad Hour, and The Telephone Hour. The Voice of Firestone continues to enchant radio audiences from coast to coast, and the program is now in its 25th year. Also on Monday evenings, enjoy the operettas presented on The Railroad Hour. Gordon MacRae is your Railroad Hour host, and each week he is joined by a charming guest artist in the stellar productions of this fine show. You'll also want to hear the Telephone Hour every week, as it presents the music of Donald Voorhees and the Bell Symphonic Orchestra and Chorus, as well as superb guest soloists. Listen Monday evenings on the NBC Radio Network. Now, Act Two of The Six-Shooter, starring James Stewart as Britt Ponsett.
I had a hunch I wouldn't have a hard time finding him. There was only one cemetery in Petersville, a sloping hill west of town. Pines all around it and soft green ferns mixed in between the trees. Rink was there, sitting on his haunches right beside a mound of fresh earth. He wasn't crying, but his cheeks were streaked with wet dust where the tears had been. Oh, Rink. Say, if these things were your paws, I thought maybe you might like to have them here. You, want some supper?
I'm not hungry.
Yeah, well...
You believe what the sheriff said, don't you? You believe he was right to kill Pa?
Well, I wasn't there. I didn't see how it happened.
But you're on his side anyway.
Oh, people don't have sides, Rank, not on a thing like this.
I do. I'm on Pa's side. He was a good man. Never did anybody harm, never. No matter what that lying sheriff says.
Oh, maybe you saw your dad different from other folks. And that doesn't mean you're wrong. Maybe with you, he was different.
I want to make it up for him, Mr. Ponsett. I'm going to get even with that sheriff. I will, so help me.
Now, you listen to me.
Let me alone, Mr. Ponsett. Just stop John and let me alone.
All right. All right, Rank. Now, if you change your mind, you know where the hotel is, huh? Good night. I thought he would change his mind. I thought it'd get cold out there in a couple hours and he'd come sneaking into the hotel room, but he didn't. He didn't change his mind. I had the room all to myself. I didn't sleep very much, though. You know how it is when you're expecting something to happen to you. You sort of keep thinking about it in spite of yourself, and you just don't sleep very sound. Anyway, Yeah? Who is it?
Me, Britt. Sheriff Jay.
Oh, come on in, Sheriff. Oh, morning.
Hope I didn't wake you.
No, I wasn't asleep. I should have been up a long time ago, but hand me my boots, sir, will you?
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure.
Thanks. Thanks.
Hey, boy's not with you?
No. No, I haven't seen him since last night. Don't know where he went.
Oh?
Something the matter?
Thompson's hardware store was robbed about 3 a.m. No money missing. Just a revolver and some bullets, as far as Brad Thompson can tell.
Oh, I see.
Got in through the back window. Found some boot prints outside. Mm-hmm. Small boots. Size a boy'd be wearing.
Wait, you find anything else?
Yeah. There's a pretty clear trail leading away from behind the store. Be real easy to follow. Almost as if the fellow who robbed the hardware store left the tracks intentional so somebody'd come after him.
What happened to that towel? Oh, here it is.
It was the Larkin kid, wasn't it, Britt?
Oh, it could have been.
Don't tell me he's got some fool notion of revenging his father.
Well, he did say something about getting even, Jay.
So he figures when I go riding after him, he'll get a chance to kill me. That how you see it?
It's pretty hard to be sure what's going on in a youngster's head sometimes.
Doggone it, Britt. Sometimes I wonder why I keep on wearing this star. No matter what you do, it's wrong. Earl Larkin ain't the first man I've killed, not by a long sight. And he deserved it more than most. Killing him didn't end nothing. Just turned his kid bad. I guess I should have... Well...
Let Larkin kill you?
Oh, no.
You going after Rink?
Oh, maybe the kid will come to his senses.
When you're 11 years old and you get set on accomplishing something, you don't change your mind very easy, you know.
What do you expect me to do, Brett? Go up in those hills and shoot it out with an 11-year-old boy? I got a son of my own. Ned's just about the same age as Rink.
Oh?
If Rink was covering me right now, there in that door, if I saw his finger starting to squeeze the trigger, I wouldn't be able to shoot. No matter what, I wouldn't be able to shoot.
Where's his trail lead?
East, over toward Skull Mountain.
Oh, Widow Jenkins' ranch right over that way. I'm riding out to see her this morning.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter whether I go after Rink or he comes after me. Might as well get it over with. That's what you think I ought to do, ain't it, Britt?
Oh, no. No, not necessarily. All I was thinking was that if you did happen to decide to follow Rink, well, we could ride out together, part way at least. We're getting pretty close to Black Canyon, are we?
Yeah, it's only about half a mile.
If somebody wanted to set up an ambush, that canyon would be a good place, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, here's the turnoff to the Jenkins ranch.
Huh? Oh, yes, yeah. That's right. Well... Ma Jenkins wasn't expecting me before sundown, so I didn't need to turn off just yet. I could ride along with Sheriff Jay a little bit further. We were moving through Black Canyon now, rocks on both sides, plenty of cover for a person who wanted it. Rink's trail went right straight ahead, and that's why we didn't pay much attention to what was happening behind us. Not enough attention, anyway. I did hear something, a little scratching noise. By the time I turned my head, a barrel of a revolver was poked out through a crevice between two boulders. And it wasn't Rink who was holding the gun.
All right, boys.
What?
And don't reach.
Traeger!
Told you not to reach. Next time won't be your hand. Who are you?
My name's Ponsett. Britt Ponsett.
Oh. Sure took your time coming after me, Sheriff. Were you waiting for somebody like the 6-shooter to give you a hand?
I never thought you'd be fool enough to hang around. I give you credit for having good sense.
I'd have been glad to move on, but my horse went lame on me. Besides, you put a bullet through my shoulder, remember? Just hold still, Sheriff. The wound is healed now. Okay, climb out of the saddle. But don't hurry things. Come down slow, one at a time. You first, Ponce. Your turn, Sheriff. Now, walk forward a couple of steps. Away from your horses. Hold it. Oh. Why, forget it. What happened to Larkin? I said...
He died a couple of hours after you and him held up the bank.
Well, that's the way it goes. All right, now let's...
You haven't seen his kid, have you?
What? Larkin's kid?
Yeah, a boy about 11 years old.
And what would I be... You mean he's in these parts?
Yeah, he's gunning for the sheriff here.
Sure takes after his old man, don't he?
What do you mean, Traeger?
Huh? Well, that was Larkin's trouble. Liked the gun too much.
Oh?
Sure. Wasn't so bad when we first teamed up, but after a while he wasn't happy unless he could start a gunfight. Ask the sheriff. You know how he was there at the bank. Now, if it had been up to me, we'd have given up when we saw he had us cornered, but not Earl. Anyhow.
You might have been better off if you'd given up.
No, not me, Ponce. Earl, maybe, but not me. Anyway, he'd have been killed sooner or later. Fella's always blazing away. Someone's always going to blaze back at him.
Uh-huh.
Now, me, I'm different. I don't enjoy killing the way Earl did.
Uh-huh. No,
of course,
that's good.
there's times when a man don't have no choice.
Traeger.
Like today, maybe. I gotta have a horse, and I gotta make a break out of these hills.
Now, look, Traeger.
Well, as I see it, there's only one way of getting a horse, and of making sure you boys don't follow me.
Traeger!
At least that's how I see it. So I guess it don't leave me much choice, does it?
He cocked his gun, and a ray of sunlight glinted off the barrel as he tilted up just a fraction of an inch. And then his trigger finger started curling back real slow, like he was playing with us, making us wonder which one of us. I wasn't sure which one of us was going to get it first. If it was me, Sheriff J might have a chance to draw before Traeger could fire again. If it was the sheriff, then his aim was right between us. He was taunting us, and he knew it. And the slightest move by either one of us.
Yeah, that's right. Keep on wondering. Keep shaking. Nerves. Which one you thinking? But it's going to be both of you. Because you're nice and you're close.
And his trigger finger kept tightening. Slowly.
And boys, it's going to be now. So...
For a split second, Trigger just stood there, not moving. Then he fell down on his face. And I saw Rink rise up from behind a rock about 8 feet away.
Rink! Hello, Sheriff. Mr. Ponce.
Hello, Rink.
You... Holy mackerel, son. You sure turned up at the right time. You've been hiding behind that rock all the time?
You see me, didn't you, Mr. Ponce? When I snuck up behind that rock, that's why you kept talking about Pa.
I thought I saw somebody. Figured it might be you. Sure hoped it was.
I'm glad I heard what he said, Mr. Ponce. Otherwise, I'd never have believed about... I'm sorry I called you a liar, Sheriff. I'm sorry I tried to get you out here so I could...
No, don't you worry about that, Rick. We're mighty grateful for what you did, both of us. You sure know how to handle a gun.
Pa taught me. I still don't see how he could have been the kind of man who was also so good to me.
Sure, Rank. Sure, I know.
Well, sounds like Traeger's still got some life in him.
Oh, yeah. Well, we better be getting him back to town. Come on, Rank, give us a hand. Well, since I was going to be alone on the Jenkins place while Maul Jenkins went east, there didn't seem to be any good reason why Rink couldn't stay along there for a while, too. At least until the time for school to take up again. So I wrote a letter back to his aunt explaining things. She wrote back. She didn't seem to have any objections. But somehow, reading between the lines, I got the feeling she kind of missed that boy, Rink. And, well, it wasn't very long before he began to miss her, too.
One of the finest things you can do is support your local community chest or United Fund. Through them, you can make just one yearly contribution that takes care of many needs. Since only one campaign is staged, much time and effort are saved. Your money is collected and administered honestly and efficiently. So give generously to your community chest or your local United Fund.
This is ChestertonRadio.com.
Silver Theater, starring Rosalind Russell and James Stewart in an original story, First Love. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, from the International Silver Company, makers of 1847 Rogers Brothers, America's finest silver plate. Welcome to this, the gala opening of their new Silver Theater. This is a big day, an exciting day. The day when glamorous Rosalind Russell and popular James Stewart inaugurate a weekly series of half-hour productions with the first episode of a romantic comedy drama entitled First Love. And in the coming weeks, there will be a parade of other vivid stories starring Hollywood's finest dramatic talent. And ladies and gentlemen, there's still another reason why this is a day to remember. Today, with the coast-to-coast premiere of their new radio series, 1847 Rogers Brothers also present their latest and loveliest pattern in fine silver plate, named First Love. A pattern whose craftsmanship is of the kind never before available except in special order silver plate and sterling silver. I'd like to tell you more about it right now, and I'd like to let you know, too, about the generous gift offer which is being made to every one of you listening in. But that must come later. Right now, the show is the thing. And the man behind the show is the man of the hour. I'm going to introduce a famous personality who will be with us in the 1847 Silver Theater each week to tell you about our stars and our plays. He's worked with most of the great names of the stage and screen. He's distinguished himself on the stage, screen, and radio as both an actor and a director. We're very fortunate to have with us for this series a man who can lend such dramatic and directorial knowledge and skill to its production. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Conrad Nagel.
Thank you, Mr. Conti, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I know you're all waiting to hear the play, but first I just want to welcome my old friends, those two grand troopers, Rosalind Russell and James Stewart. You're going to enjoy them on the air every bit as much as you've enjoyed them on the screen. Incidentally, you have a treat in store with Rosalind Russell's new Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer picture, Love, Live, and Learn, in which she will soon be seen with Robert Montgomery. She's a fine actress as always. And in her new picture, she's more beautiful than ever. As for Jimmy Stewart, that lean, handsome Princeton student of architecture who became an MGM star overnight, well, you'll see this ace among the younger leading men in his forthcoming MGM picture, The Last Gangster, starring Edward G. Robinson. But now for the play. It's an original story written especially for this program by Grover Jones, author of such great screenplays as Lives of a Bengal Lancer, Trail of the Lonesome Pine, and Souls at Sea. Our story is called First Love, and it's about a boy and a girl in Hollywood. But the lights are being dimmed and the silver curtain is rising. And in a moment you'll hear the story told by Rosalind Russell, who plays the part of Jean Wilson, and James Stewart, who plays Jimmy Parks. We've all worked very hard, and we hope you like our show.
What's that? Those rails are... Oh, I'm sorry. I had no idea I was talking out loud.
There's no need to be sorry. Anybody's liable to talk to herself if she's lonesome. What's his name?
What? Oh, it's not a man, honestly.
Don't know what else would make a girl act like you have. Oh, I've watched you all the way across country. There's something on your mind.
As a matter of fact, there is, but I...
What is it?
Well, you see, I'm just scared, I guess.
What about?
I'm going to Hollywood.
Bah.
Well, not just to see the place. I mean to work there.
Acting?
Uh-huh.
Still, Bob. It's silly business. Get rich quick and get your name in the papers. Only you don't. Chances are about 1,000 to 1 of succeeding. Better be smart and go back home.
But there's no such thing as going back home. Not for me.
Know anybody in Hollywood?
Oh, yes, a boy I was in school with. He's arranging a screen test for me. That'll be my chance to prove what I can do, you know.
Well, from what I hear, there's nothing like Hollywood if you make good.
I know.
And nothing like it if you fail.
But I can't fail.
You better go back, 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 you better go back.
What are we waiting for?
The girl hasn't had a chance to rehearse, Bob. She just got the script half an hour ago.
Okay, on the line now, Bob. We're ready to shoot.
Now, wait a minute, Bob. Let's spend an hour and give the girl a break. After all, she's a friend of mine, and I've sold the front office.
Listen, they give me 6 days to make a war picture, and then you want me to sit around here and teach some dame how to act. Now, get her on the set now or it's off. Mike, over here by this vase of flowers.
How's it coming, Gene?
All right, I think. By the time I study the lines a little longer and rehearse a few times, you know...
Look, Gene, I know this is a tough break, but the director's all tired out, and I'm afraid that, well, you're just not going to get a chance to rehearse.
But, Joe, I can't do a scene like this without a
Joe, bring the girl and let's get going. Step on it.
Come on, kid, troop it through.
But, Joe, my makeup, my hair, the lines, But, Joe, answer me. They didn't like it, did they?
No, Gene, they didn't like it. But they would have...
Don't say any more. I know. I saw the test, didn't I? I was terrible. Awful. And I heard what that director said. He couldn't use me even if he was making slapstick comedies. Well, he's right. I know it now. I'm no good. I was lucky I found it out this soon. I can't act. I can't act. I can't.
I'm afraid we can't use you.
But I used to pose for commercial photographers in the East. I did quite a bit of that.
I'm afraid you won't out here. You see, we don't do much of that kind of work on the coast. Sorry.
You see, I've done quite a bit of modeling. They always told me I had a good figure for ready-mades. Well, you can leave your name, but we already have over 50 girls on our waiting list. Sorry.
Sorry to see how it is, Miss Wilson. We won't have any more openings for sales girls until Christmas. Sorry.
Christmas? Well, that's
Bring the girl and let's get going.
No, Gene, they didn't like it. I'm sorry.
We don't do much of that kind of work on the coast. Sorry.
But we already have over 50 girls on our waiting list. Sorry.
More openings for sales girls until Christmas. Sorry. They didn't like it. Sorry.
We don't do much of that work. Sorry.
Over 50 girls.
More openings for sales girls. Sorry.
Sorry.
You better go back. You better go back. You better go back. You better go back.
No, stop it. I can't go back. I can't go back. I can't go back.
I'll take cheese on rye.
Anything else?
Yeah. You on Saturday night. No kidding. Why don't you break down and give me a date, Jenny?
Cheese on rye coffee. My name's not Jenny, and please let go of my hand.
You know, you ought to be nice to me. I practically own the studio across the street. Of course, I dress like a carpenter, but I'm really a partner of the boss, Martin Rickey. Ain't that right, boys? So if you treat me right, I might get you a job in one of our pictures. How'd you like that?
There's one thing in the world I don't want. It's a part in one of your pictures, or anybody else's pictures, for that matter.
Waffle coming up, Gene.
Oh, thanks. Give me a number 4 sandwich on toast, cheese on rye, 2 coffee, and... Oh, Pierre.
What's the matter? Not getting you down, is it?
Oh, it's got me down, those oafs. Making passes at me, that cheap line of wisecracks.
And why? Because they know it gets your goat. Oh, get wise to yourself, my petit. Give it right back to them in their own language like Miles and the other girls do. And listen, mon enfant. You know, if you don't do as I tell you, the boss is going
I know. Thanks, Pierre. How's this? Hey, you. Where's
that waffle I ordered? Are you embalming it?
Oh, magnifique. Well, here it is. Not so good, but make him like it.
Will I?
Hey, sister, where's that waffle I ordered?
Here's your waffle, brother. And your coffee's coming right up.
Oh, thanks.
Must have in large orders bicarbonate of soso.
I beg your pardon. What
Bicarbonate of soso. Needing very bad on stage heaven.
He means bicarbonate of soda, Gene. Must be for Martin Ricky. Dollars to donuts, that Trista Lane dame's on the old warpath again.
Oh, yes. Miss Lancia warpathing, all right. If I not bringing soon, studio are in a shambles. Martin Ricky having double indigestion and Trista Lane are...
I stood about all of this, I'm going to. And let me tell you, Martin Ricky, unless this outrage is corrected, you're going to need more than bicarbonate of soda before I get through with you.
Okay, Trista, okay. I've sent for Jimmy, and he'll be here in a minute. Meanwhile, let's keep shooting. Remember, we must think of superb productions as well as of ourselves. And it's costing me thousands of dollars to... Now, please, Trista. Ray, come on, let's get going.
I won't, I tell you. I won't. Not if it costs $1 million, I won't.
Get the idea, Ricky? She won't.
Quiet, Harry, quiet. What, you want me, Ricky?
Jimmy Parks, I'll say I want you.
Wanted you. Where's that magazine? Listen to this. Just listen to this. Trista Lane, popular and beloved star of superb productions, today endeared herself to new millions of her fans when she stated that she looks forward to a family of 9 children. Did you put that in that magazine?
Well, yeah, of course I did.
And you call yourself a publicity man, writing stuff like that for Trista Lane, the glamour woman. Why,
Now, wait a minute, Trista. Now, take it easy. We just felt that it was time to change the approach in your publicity. We want to make the public...
Sure, we have to lay off that glamour woman stuff. Like Jimmy says, there's a gimp in your glamming.
Ricky, are you going to stand for this?
That's what it's costing me? No, Trista, I'm not. Now, listen here, Jimmy. I want to...
No, Ricky. Now, you listen to me. Now, just remember this. Her glamour was my idea in the first place. That's my glamour. It's my publicity story. It's my build-up that made Trista Lane.
Why?
Sure. He even made the critics believe that your dumbness was repression.
Oh!
Now, quiet, Perry, now. We've used this glamour angle as long as we could, Trista, but now that you're getting older...
Old? Why, you cheap scribbler.
A cheap...
Ricky, are you going to let her
A
stand
cheap scribbler? How do you like that? Did you hear me? A cheap scribbler? Listen, you... I made roadshows out of your last 3 pictures, yeah, and what were they? Trista Lane meets David Montrose in the desert, Trista Lane meets David Montrose in the hospital, Trista Lane meets David Montrose in a canoe. 24 reels of heaving bosom and no plot.
Oh, that's done it. If you think that you can...
Oh, here we are, Mr. Ricky, sir. Bicarbonate of soso.
Yeah, give it to me.
Okay.
The executioner drank a hearty breakfast.
Now, get off this lot. You're fired, both of you.
No, we're not. We quit 5 minutes ago. Come on, Perry. And just for your information, my flat-brained friend, you're throwing away about $5 million.
I said get. Who said $5 million? What are you talking about?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm talking about. I was just about to turn over to you a girl I've discovered who would have made Trista Lane's success look like a wet firecracker. But now I'm going to take her to another producer, somebody who'll appreciate a Jimmy Parks build-up. And boy, this girl's going to get it. Come on, Perry. We're interrupting one of Mr. Ricky's A pictures.
Yeah, and A is for awful. Jimmy, I'm ashamed of you letting them talk to you like that. Why, if I'd have been you...
Quiet. I don't have to have you around to tell me what I should take and what I shouldn't. Every time Oh, you're right. Why do I get mad so slow? Well, just wait till I see our friend Ricky again.
May I take your order?
Trista Lane wants Lizzie Cassidy calling me a cheap scribbler.
May I take your order?
Well, can't you wait a minute?
Give me coffee, black and 4 aspirin.
Give me tea, green tea, and hurry up.
Tea?
Well, yes, I said tea. You heard me. I like tea. Any objections? Now, go on, snap into it.
Listen, I'll snap it. All right.
That old fight, Jimmy. Talk like that to Ricky.
Now, don't worry. I'm going to make Martin Ricky sorry he fired me if it's the last thing I ever do.
Well, how?
Well, I don't know. But I'm going to.
Well, we got a swell working capital to start on. 60 cents more and we'd have $24.
Yeah, I know. Why can't we learn to save our dough?
Yeah. Hey, what's the matter with us? We're okay.
You forgot our ace in the hole, that gal.
What gal?
The damsel who can out Trista. Who is she, by the way?
Oh, wake up, Perry. Wake up. Use your head, will you?
Oh, I get it. She ain't. Well, Brother Parks, it looks like a long, hard winter.
Here are your coffees and the aspirin for you.
Coffee. I said tea.
Oh, did you? I got mixed. You see, there's so many people.
Why can't they get some girls around here with some sense? I
have got sense, but I made a mistake. It's nothing to make a fuss about.
Who's making a fuss?
You are, and if you'll wait a second, I'll change it.
Oh, you'll change it? Well, she'll change it. Well, isn't that nice? If you'd spend a little less time wisecracking with guys at the counter and pay more attention to your job,
you talk to me like that.
I'll talk to you any way I please.
Hey, Jimmy, wait a minute.
Now, you keep out of this. Listen, if you had any brains at all...
You shut up, you cheap Hollywood windbag.
What?
If you think you can treat me like that, so you want your order, do you? Well, there.
Hey, you got over my coat, you crazy dumb...
And as for you... Ow!
Well, now look what I've done.
Huh?
I got to blow off so I insult a kid like that. I stay cool for Ricky and insult a girl. Well, that's great. I'm doing all right today.
Hey, wait a minute. Where are you going?
Where do you think I'm going?
But, Jimmy...
Hey, Cook, that girl that just came out here, where is she?
Oh, Jean? Out there in the alley. Say, are you the one that made her cry that way?
Look, I'm sorry. Please don't cry.
I'm not crying. Go away. Leave me alone.
Well, no, listen to me, please. No. I'm not like that, really. I wasn't sore at you, even if I had.
Leave me alone. It doesn't matter.
No, it matters a whole lot. Now, come on, tell me it's okay, will you? Here's a handkerchief.
I don't need it. Oh, thanks.
Here, you'd better sit over here on that box. You get your uniform all dirty in the garbage.
I don't care. Here's your handkerchief.
Oh, no, you keep it. That's okay. You keep it. Say, is that real?
What?
That curl above your left eye.
Oh, please don't kid me anymore. I can't take it. I thought I could, but, well, I...
No, I'm not kidding. Honest, I'm not. Gosh, if you just knew how low I feel.
Oh, it's not just you. It's a lot of other things that have been...
But I've just got to do something. See, when a fellow feels ashamed, I don't know. Well, if it was 15 years ago and my mother here was here to give me a licking, I'd... But you can smile after all, huh?
Oh, forget it. It's all right.
You sure?
Sure.
Say, I got an idea.
Hmm?
Yeah, now, here are a couple of tickets to the preview at the Chinese tonight. Now, suppose you call up your boyfriend and tell him to come... But, wait a minute. Don't tell him what a heel I've been. He'd be down here and take a swing at me, you know. But, what is he, a big guy?
No.
Oh. Little guy?
No.
Oh, a medium-sized guy?
No.
Oh, I get it. I don't believe it, but I get it. Well, then, why not you... No.
What?
Well, of course, it was just a crazy idea, but I just thought maybe you might go with me.
That is a crazy idea, but I might.
What do you mean?
Hey, how's about clearing the alley? I got a delivery to make.
Okay, make it, my friend. Now, look, what's your name anyway? Where do you live? Now, I'll call for you about... Listen, Perry, now, I asked Miss Wilson for the preview. I have 2 tickets, see? Two. Now, why don't you go off someplace by yourself, big crowd, huh?
All right, if you insist, I will come along with you. Thanks, pal.
You too.
Oh, hey, I almost forgot. Perry, turn on the broadcast of this clam bake we're going to tonight, will you?
Okay.
And incidentally, Gene, you don't mind my saying so, I think you look like $1 million in that dress. It looks swell.
Oh, it's not very new, I'm afraid. I wore it once.
And we'll see if we can get her to say a word into the microphone. Miss Trista Lane.
Oh, that ain't. Turn it off.
You mean to tell me we're going to have to walk up past the microphone like all those stars are doing?
Sure.
Oh.
We'll sail right up there between the crowds, and you'll look just as much like a star as any... Oh, just like a star. Turn that off, Perry. Just like a star. Wow. Gene, let me look at you.
Hmm?
Swell.
What are you talking about?
Now, let me see your hands. Perfect. How tall are you?
I'm 5'5", but I wish you'd let me in on
Jimmy,
what...
if you mean what I think you mean.
Why not?
Jimmy, what is all this? Now, I want to know.
Jane, now, don't ask questions. Now, whatever happens, just don't open your mouth. I'll do all the talking.
You certainly are. Oh, Jimmy, that crowd in front of the theater, there must be thousands of them. They're lined up behind the ropes on each side of the entrance as if it were a parade.
It's all right, all the better. Now, come on.
Jimmy, I'm scared. All those people. Let's not go to the preview. Please, let's go back, Jimmy, please.
Don't worry. Now, leave everything to me. Now, pile out there.
Okay. May I assist you, Mr. Parks?
Cut it, Perry.
Don't do it, Jimmy. Don't do it. Not to a sweet kid like that.
Out of the way. I said I'd get even with Martin Ricky, didn't I?
Okay, heel.
Are you two going to let me out of here?
Here, now, take my hand, Gene. Now, watch your step. There we are.
Thank
That's
you,
a girl,
Mr.
Gene.
Crawford. That was John
Chin up,
Crawford,
honey.
ladies and
Head
gentlemen,
high. That's
MGM
the stuff.
scintillating
Now, look,
star.
the
Here's another
announcer
arrival.
spotted us.
It's
Here.
my old friend Jimmy Parks, and with him is a very lovely young lady. And you can bet your bottom dollar that if she attends a premiere with Jimmy Parks, she's really a somebody. She looks a little like, Mr. Parks, will you say just a word to our radio audience and perhaps introduce your charming companion?
Sure thing.
Mr. Jimmy Parks, publicity director of Superba Productions.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I assure you that there's nothing I'd rather do than introduce this young lady who's with me tonight. And here she is now, Miss Jean Wilson.
Oh, no, Jimmy, I couldn't. I'm sorry, but I really couldn't.
That's quite all right, Miss Wilson. I'm sure the folks out there quite understand your modesty. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is a great thrill for me to have this opportunity to present to you for the first time this new, exciting personality, this new star, Miss Jean Wilson, who combines all the glamour of a Trista Lane with the girlish winsomeness of a character out of Sir James Barry.
Jimmy.
Why, she's beautiful, yes, but infinitely more an actress. She's toured the world studying various forms of drama in every corner of the globe. Why, she's not going to be a star of tomorrow, she's going to be the star of tomorrow. Now, remember that name, Miss Jean Wilson. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy Parks. I know people all over the country will anxiously await the appearance of this new star on the silver screen.
Gene.
And now, folks, two more cards.
Perry, where's Gene?
In case you're interested, your brand new star is scrammed.
Well, where?
Down the street, that way. But look, Jimmy, don't do it. It's a dirty...
Well, Gene? Wait a minute, Gene. Now, Gene, no, just a minute. Now, you've got to understand.
Don't talk to me. Leave me alone. Aren't you satisfied? You had your joke. Now run along.
Joke? When I'm talking to millions of people? Well, that speech was on the level, Gene. You are my new star. You've got to be.
Stop following me.
Oh, no, look here now. The lights are against you.
Let go of my arm, please.
Gene, will you please stop this marathon and stand still and listen to me? I'll make you $1 million.